Hello, welcome to Star Wars Spelt Out. I'm your host, Josh Chapman, and today it's Skeleton Crew, Episode 3. We've got two of our Buccaneers on deck here today. We've got Catherine Kneen. Hello, Catherine.
Diego Luna's coming to Celebration.
Well, let's not bury the lead. And we've got Matt Mole. How's it going, mate?
Yo ho ho.
Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. Well, let's just touch the pretty big Star Wars news week. Like Skeleton Crew, I know this is the recap show, but we should
stay on target.
News. We'll do a little bit of news up front, very quickly up front. The big news on everybody's tongue is that the bear is playing Jabba the Hutt's son in the Mandalorian movie.
That is the biggest news.
That's wild news.
That's another fever dream.
I mean, why not? I mean, I think it's probably just like 3 lines of like, or it's like, we'll just get him to do it. He's friends with somebody. Like, why not? Why not him? I guess. I thought it was like an Onion article or like a parody article thing when I saw it. Because I saw it and then just sort of went, oh, haha, that's funny. And then just moved on. And then it was like, no, it's actually real.
It became on mainstream media everywhere. And I'm like, doing what? And then I saw it on SWU. And then I'm like, shit, this is real.
He's playing Stinky himself.
But do you think he has it must have a prominent gig, or is he just I don't know.
I don't know. So that means there's Hutts in this movie. So, yeah.
Or a Hutt.
Well, those sort of shithead cousins from the Book of Boba Fett are still floating around too.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a weird turn. It's just Star Wars news you don't expect to see.
Well, they did say that filming had finished on Mando and the Grogu.
Yep.
It's in the can. It's ready to go. Well, it's not ready to go. It's ready to edit.
So he's just there in a. Do you reckon he's doing mocap? Do you reckon he's like, was it Jeffrey Allen White? I always get his name wrong. But he's just like, oh. But some of them kind of talk normal anyway. Like I always just think of who was it? Zero the Hutt. He's the best one.
Yeah.
The Truman Capote one. He's like, what are we doing here today, guys? I'm going to pick you up. Yeah. He's a bit Eric Cartman, actually. I've just made him sound like, but anyway.
So they should hire you.
Yeah, why not? Where's my call, Star Wars? I've recorded plenty of Star Wars audio. No call, as usual. Any other Star Wars news? I can't think of anything else that happened today.
Oh, dude.
Nothing?
Dude.
Catherine's phone blowing up again?
Oh, not as many notifications as you would think. But yes, there was a bit of blowing up of... Yes, the news that Diego Luna would be for sure at Star Wars Celebration, and it is presented in the way that they usually present people who are doing like autographs and photos. So
yeah,
I don't take that as confirmation, but oh my god.
The game has changed, as they say. The mindset has changed slightly. So yeah, when we always kind of felt it was a pretty safe bet that he'd turn up, given that the show comes out 2 days after Celebration or whatever it is. But you never know. So it's going to be a very Andor centric Celebration Japan.
Always was going to be.
So Catherine's got 4 months to mentally prepare.
4 months to mentally prepare. You mean you don't think she's already started?
Well,
I'm serious when I say I haven't stopped shaking all day. I was in a class when I saw that's a hell of a lot of notifications, and I sort of did the old not open it up, just see a bit more in detail, and yeah, that's how I found out.
And then you had to sort of keep it cool in the classroom, did you?
Keep it cool until I could walk out into my office and then just run around the office screaming. And while another lady was there, was going, "What's wrong? What's wrong?"
Said, nothing's wrong. Everything's right about now.
Yep.
So that's very exciting. So that's another little thing we can put forward. We can put on the looking forward to celebration list as we get closer to it. So big news, but let's get back on the game here. Crew, episode 3. These episode titles are killing me. What
I didn't even look. I saw Turbo send like 5 minutes ago. And I was like, "What's that?
was it?
Astrogration or something?" Or
Catherine,
what
have you
was
got it in front of you? I'm just trying to get it in front of me here.
it said something.
Yeah.
Very
very
interesting.
as an astrogation problem.
What is that? Let's go back
So
to
it's
the acolyte
something that Kim
ones that were
said.
like day, night, fear.
Yeah, so and Turbo sent through the Wikipedia link to astrogation. So astrogation was the science of safely and reliably traversing space in a starship. So there's more in there, but yeah, it's basically how you can get through space safely.
Sure. It's just
Yep.
it's just a I don't know. I feel like they're just messing with me on this one, but running time this week, Matt. What are we looking at here? A healthy
No comment. I think it's about 38 minutes.
38. I think 38, 39. I just watched it with the girls just before, and it definitely wasn't the full clip, as we know, because they still got to bed around about normal time, even though we sort of started a little bit after. But yep, that's 3 in the can. So good.
How many? Is it 8 or 10 or 12 or?
I think 8 or 9.
Would be 9. I've never seen it odd.
I have to look it up. I think 8.
So wow, we're 3/8 in.
So I feel like we're at the end of the trailer footage now.
Oh, we're way past that. I think like last week they sort of 3/4 of 80% of the trailer footage and
Yep.
Yeah, so we definitely got this week that, how we got that still image of Jod. We got that
with
when
the
he
one
was
facing
at
the door kind of
entrance.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was sort of the
Yeah.
So we kind of kick off with going back to the parents. It's sort of it's quite interesting because they just assume like they're all sort of around at at Fern's mum's place, and they're all kind of like, obviously worried about their kids, and they all seem to just think that they're still somewhere on the planet, which is quite interesting. They didn't sort of even get the concept that they might have blasted off into space somewhere.
Well, by the sounds of it, no one's left in a very long while. So, they'd probably consider it impossible.
Yeah.
no one's left ever.
Well, not in living memory anyway. But they're very dependent on these droids to get stuff done, though, aren't they? They're just kind of like, so if something goes wrong, we've got to get these droids involved.
Don't worry, the droids will sort it out.
Yeah.
Everything will be fixed, and they'll sort us out. They're our overlords.
And the droid turns up and is kind of like, well, they're off planet, so what can you do?
They're fucked.
They didn't really seem to have any, solutions, did they? Like, I'm sort of, I don't know. It's that kind of thing. It's like, if your kid goes missing, I feel like I don't know. I feel like they're a little bit
Relaxed.
Yeah, not relaxed, but I don't know. I guess before, because they just assumed that they thought they were on the planet somewhere. They're just like, they've just gone up in the sky. But the fact that they're off planet, I don't know.
Well, the dads seem catatonic. The others were like, "Oh, everything's gonna be okay. There'll be a solution." But the dad's like, "They're so gone."
He's like, I think I saw that spaceship fly out of there.
He knew that, and then they're like, "We need to speak to the Grand Master or whatever it is." Like, what is it? The supervisor, like the cult leader.
Nothing at all sinister about.
No, it sounds
the
very
leader
like
being
Wizard of
called.
Oz or something, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something's up there.
And that was quite interesting because like they had Neil, KB's parents, and they were talking about how her life monitor wasn't on. I'm gonna do you reckon they just like put that thing as a tracking? Do you reckon they're kind of helicopter parents? They just kind of like basically put a tracking device on her so she can't really do anything or go anywhere.
So the thing's a low jack, like an Apple AirTag.
Yeah. Well, obviously there's been a lot of things done to KB, but
I don't know. Do you reckon
so
she's been
part
like?
of it.
you think she's been adjusted, or do you think it's just headwear that she wears in order to, it's like I said, just to sort of track her, to sort of keep her safe, sort of stuff? Or do you think it's actually plugged into her head?
I think it's plugged in because, like when she was lying down to sleep, it wasn't like she was taking it off, and she is literally plugging things into like her earpiece. And if you look at her hair, it's sort of shaved and cut around, the side piece. So that would far more imply that it's, part of her head rather than something like an accessory.
Mysterious. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't trust these droids, Mole. I don't trust them one little bit.
Well, I think the droids are just sort of...
Do you think they know what's going on, or do you think they're just literally just like, we just are here to keep you in check, and that's as far as what we do?
Harmless supervisors, but they're also programmed to trust them as their masters, really, or these guys are in charge. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really been. I mean, it escalated somewhat now, where they want to go see the supervisor or whatever it is. But
nothing should ever really happen. The cars don't leave the floor. Nothing should ever really go wrong.
Well, the idea of having a ship that's got space travel on the planet, or at least accessible to people, wasn't something they'd really considered. So it was. That's why it's sort of monkey wrench in the whole operation, I suppose. Shattered the illusion. I mean, we'll get into there is some more context about what the planet could be once we get into the episode. But even from the jump, it seems like those parents aren't really going to get much help.
No, the droids only answer to the supervisor, and also they don't, they can't see the possibilities of what could happen. And like it's impossible to leave the planet because of the barrier.
Yeah.
And
I guess your kids are done. You'd have to get some more kids from somewhere else. So no Neil's dad, no Steele Saunders this week, unfortunately. Although I think he was just the stand-in. Only Neil's mum was on there.
Yeah, getting a cup of tea.
Someone had to look after the babies, I suppose. So
yeah.
So and then we catch up with the crew who are busting out of the prison with Jude Skellington, and he's kind of. The kids got a lot of questions. The kids are like a couple of Star Wars YouTubers. They're just basically trying to poke holes in everything. They're just like, well, if you could try to escape, why'd you do this? If you could use the Force, why'd you do this? I don't know. Kind of gave up. I didn't feel like I got many more answers. Felt like I got more questions.
But it was good that they were asking the questions.
Yeah, and they were acknowledging the things that we were all asking.
Yeah. And Jod was, trying to dodge them and things. But also, even in this scene, it was acknowledging that, he's was it Captain Silvo or whatever. It was, that everyone could tell from that first episode. But I'm glad that they weren't making that some big reveal.
Like reveal at the end. I was like, well, actually, I am Captain Silvo.
Yeah.
No. But we did see that it's weird though, because he seemed like he was legitimately locked up and he was waiting for his chance to get off because he needed a ship, which is completely reasonable. But then like when they actually like leave, like they walk out and they kind of go back out through the crowd. Well, and then like Fern actually literally like says like that was easy. Like, what do you reckon, Mole? Do you reckon that he just let him go? Because then when he comes back for the droid, they're all after him.
He wasn't. I think he was legitimately locked up, and I don't know. Like the whole section was put on alert. So I think I don't know how he's using the Force though, because I got real Kunal Nanjiani vibes from like he's using tricks and magnets sort of thing. He's not really using the Force. Like he's sort of just.
But he uses it because he uses it to get the key, and then he uses it to distract the guards. But there's another time he uses it where it's like not where he normally is. Like it's not like somewhere. I think it's like when they
turns the light off or something.
Yeah, in the ship or something. He does it,
and he senses a guard coming.
But even they dispel that as well, because remember they're like, oh well, KB saw someone coming. Who is she, a Jedi as well? Like it's.
Well, to be honest, it was a droid. It was a little, like a beep 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 floaty droid, and so I sort of thought, well, can her technology pick that up?
Yeah,
Also, so and of course, Jedi's can't always pick up droids.
yeah, yeah. Oh, look, I think
So
it's been,
yeah,
it's deliberately being kept in the dark. They obviously want to stretch this mystery about what his deal is. It's clear that he was that pirate. He was leading those pirates at one stage.
yeah.
They locked him up for being crap. And it seems that he was also known as, was it Crimson Jack?
Yep.
Crimson Jack Sparrow.
Which was apparently, according to our friend Andy Bell, was from the comics, the Marvel comics. Was a guy who had a run-in with Han Solo and was the guy who stole Han Solo's reward for rescuing the princess, which is why he had no cash at the start of Empire Strikes Back.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
to pay Jabba. Although you think that like someone else would have just put the money up to keep him around. But anyway, whatever. It's Star Wars.
And according to Kim Tom, this amused me. Like the little bit of blue sky I've seen, Crimson Jack didn't wear pants. So,
Well, that's disappointing for all the fans out there who heard Jude Law was playing Crimson Jack. It's like, all right, well, we're going to get some pantsless Jude Law on this episode.
look, there's still some episodes to go. Yeah. We got a shirtless Diego
Well, that's
Luna.
true. That's true. So, it depends what you wish for.
You'll find any way to bring anything Diego Luna up on.
Catherine's, all the things, everything's coming up Catherine. So why not a pantsless Jude Law in the next few weeks? So, yeah, they get back on the ship. Now, he looks at the ship. Does he's looking at that ship like, is it just because it's a piece of crap? Or is he like, I recognize that ship?
I think he recognizes it. Do you have it?
No, I don't think he can recognise it as in that he recognises it from what he's seen before, because it's very
old.
much implied that ship's been there for a very long time. But yeah, maybe he's going, oh yeah, that's a hunk of junk, or maybe he recognises some markings about it and goes, oh, that's some
The
kind
so
of
and
weird
so
thing.
clan or the whatever,
Yeah.
it's Kanja Club or whatever,
Yeah.
Tell that to Kanja Club. Yeah, and then they very very smoothly get back onto the ship, and then they forget about the poor old Smee, SM-33, and the kids are just like, well, you got to go back and get him if you think you're so great. Go back there and get that droid.
Yep. I like that loyalty from the kids. And Neil sitting in the cockpit playing with a stick.
But did you see the bit when I only noticed it on the viewing with the girls before, when they come back, they're in the little like pod thing going back over to the ship. Neil actually picks up the blaster and has it in his hand for a second. He kind of goes, "Whoa," and he sort of throws it on like, it's a really cute little moment. If you just look at Neil, like, it's just while they're all sort of going back, he picks the blaster up and he sort of goes, "Whoa," and like sort of like I don't want to touch it kind of thing, and then puts it down. Good little Neil moment.
Oh, so many good Neil moments, like when they were escaping, going through the crowds, and Neil got separated. It's like, oh no, Neil! But then Jod came back for Neil. It's like, yeah, you're okay, Jod. You saved Neil.
I would thought that would be the whole episode. Like, I thought getting from the cell to the ship was probably going to be the whole episode. Like, what do you reckon, Mole? Like, I was kind of glad that they actually got on that ship pretty quick and got moving.
Yeah, I mean, they extended the story. Well, they went pretty deep in the lore to like. They went out of their way to explain a lot of things, give us quite a bit of action, and move location, but not extend the storyline too much. Like, they covered they covered a lot of ground, but not too much. If you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
they did just enough.
They kept it rolling.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been annoying if they had just spent the whole
It
time
didn't feel
trying
like
to
filler. They served a good purpose in a short amount of time without feeling like they
too
wasted.
short amount of time.
No, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I'm content. I'm ready. I'm excited for next week. You know, it wasn't just like into hyperspace and I wonder where next week is. You know, like
Yeah. it was interesting that they actually made a point to show that the ship had been refueling, because that was like the third or fourth hyperspace jump that they've done now too. Like, I assume you just can't keep jumping to hyperspace willy-nilly all the time without filling the car up occasionally. That thing probably runs on diesel or some really old, inefficient kind of fuel as well.
So like the DeLorean where you just get the rubbish and you sort of just put it in the, whatever thing 2000, 3000 or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think this thing's running on something a little bit less, less environmentally friendly. But yep. So they pick up Shmi or SM-33 and
wait.
Oh wait, yeah. Sorry, you run from here, Matt. You've got your trivia piece.
So, and I can't believe he's in just such a small role for such a big actor. Dr. Otto Octavius Alfred Molina.
Freddie Molina.
Playing the Ishi Tib that rats out... What's his... Jude Skelly. What's his name? Jod Nadnol? Nadnol? Whatever his name is.
Captain Crimson Jack.
Crimson Jack. Because I was watching the credits trying to get the owl's name, and I'm like, Alfred Molina. I'm like, where was he? And then I had to look up this Prangic Planner. I'm like, what the hell's that? And then it's like the Ishi Tib. I'm like, he must love Star Wars to just go, just put me in. Oh, because
he was in Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Oh.
Yeah, that's the connect. He's got Alfred Molina on the speed dial. He's got him in the contacts.
Yeah, but he was in
Raise of the Lost Ark.
No, but he was in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but he only met Watts in the Spider-Man No Way Home recently.
Yeah, but he'd still have his phone number. He's sort of
I know, but like
I heard I heard him when I heard him talking. I'm going, that's a famous person's voice, and I thought it was in my head. I've gone, oh, is that Al Swearingen from Deadwood? Who's the actor who plays Al Swearingen? Someone's getting cross at me right now. Anyway, it wasn't him, but it was Alfred Molina. Who's
I know who you're thinking. The guy who got who ran that little cult in Game of Thrones who got murdered.
Yeah, he's in John Wick and all that kind of stuff. Ian McShane. Damn, it came to me. But it wasn't him. It was Alfred Molina. And yeah, he's the guy who he kind of goes, oh, hello, Captain. What are you doing here? You wouldn't have anything to do with all these goings on, would you? Which again, sort of, I think is to reinforce the fact that he's legitimately escaping. They're not just sort of letting him leave.
Mm.
Yeah, and the amount of destruction that they did on the way out.
It was a bit of a kiss off, wasn't it? I don't think things ended very well for that bloke either, who was going to rat out Jude Law. I mean, they didn't show it, but I don't think he's walking around. No, you never know. They might bring him back, but so that was a good pull, Mole. They have a little run-in with Dr. Otto Octavius himself, and then they get onto the ship and they're getting out of there. And like you said, Catherine, they cause a bit of havoc on the way out. They get the old fuel line attached to the thing. Is it sort of like what Poe Dameron does when he tries to steal the TIE fighter in Force Awakens? You know how it's sort of like chained to that thing? Not quite as skilled as Poe Dameron, clearly.
Yeah, like it's very, very well attached, and it took out a whole lot of other ships, and like also then did a lot of damage to like the base itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he didn't hurt any teaks accidentally.
I think you say you hope he didn't hurt Urkel. Again, Urkel fluffed his one line. Like she's only had 2 lines in the whole show, and neither have been super convincing.
Was he in this episode? I didn't even see
He kind of runs up when they're doing all the damage, and the current pirate leader, Wolfman, is sort of there, and he's like, he kind of runs up to him and he's like, do you want me to chase them, or do you want me to something? And I think he says, put a bounty on their heads and do all of that. So, yeah, he kind of runs up, and I don't know. Like, I'm sure he'll have a moment, Urkel, but at the moment, it's...
I listened to the Scruffies thing recently, and someone said Urkel's going to say, did I do that?
I mean, might as well. Like, I think I would prefer if he did. Because at the moment, his 2 lines have just been a bit sort of like whatevs. But
the multiverse of Urkel.
yeah, but I know he's not a huge name anymore, but he's still someone that people recognize. I don't think you're going to put him in. I mean, I know they put like Alfred Molina in for one line, but I don't know.
Well, no, Alfred Molina had a few lines, but yeah. I would love the backstory of how... I want to know how he got from No Way Home onto this show. And even if it's just like, hey, I'm literally filming
Star
something
Wars
across the road. I'm doing anything for Star Wars. Would you mind just coming to the studio and
But he wouldn't even have to do that. It would have just been like, do it in a booth. Do it on your phone.
I want to know. I love Alfred Molina. But even in Raiders of the Lost Ark, it was which Indiana Jones is it? Temple of Doom.
No, he's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
he's at the start. He's the guy who's you're through the rip. So senor.
Adios, senor.
I've just been playing. I don't think this is a spoiler. I've just been playing the brand new Indiana Jones game, the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and the intro scene of that, like it's almost like the tutorial. You actually play that first scene, like you play the Raiders of the Lost Ark opening scene. So you go into the cave with Alfred Molina, and you've got to get the spiders off him and everything, and get the whip. You get and run away from the boulder and everything. So Alfred Molina's having a moment right now.
Oh, he's everywhere.
Alfred Molina is everywhere. So so the kids get back on the ship. They get Smee back. He's very suspicious of Jude Law. He seems very devoted. He seems very devoted to the crew now as well, though, Catherine. It seems like they've reciprocated the loyalty between the two.
Yeah. It's like, okay, once you're my captain and you're my crew, that's it. Like that.
We're rolling.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So it's quite interesting because they're quite suspicious of each other as well. Like he's sort of eyeballing Jude Law. He doesn't really trust him.
And the rat's eyeing him as well.
But he goes through and he kind of gets the pirate. He sees the dead pirates and stuff and takes one of their swords. And he knows something. Yeah. And then we go off to when he was flying off to saying like he had a old acquaintance who was going to help out. I actually was like, it won't be this, but it would actually be cool if it was Maz Kanata, because isn't she like a pirate queen?
Yeah, I thought it could have been Maz, because I thought she was on a moon, or that it would make sense. Yeah, that it could have been Maz, and at that time she's still on her base on that planet. I can't remember.
Is it Takodana?
Takodana.
And considering that...
Oh, sorry for knowing Star Wars on your Star Wars nerd. Podcast. Oh, you loser.
Nothing I hate more than nerds.
Yeah.
You know-it-all nerd.
She's very old and very well travelled.
Over 1,000 years, actually.
Well, actually. Yeah. But again, this was cool. Like, it was a little moon base. It was like a moon base from Revenge of the Sith. And you got some good excuse to get some very nice silhouettes going.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a cool look, and not one that I can remember really all that much before. Like probably yes on the volume, but it was really well used, and it wasn't just a desert and done at night. Yeah, as you say, with the planet behind. It looked really cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yes, it was. I'm sure it was done on the volume. I don't actually think they filmed on the moon, Catherine.
Oh, but they might have been in a quarry or something like that and done the thing on it, though.
I'm sure they didn't do it in the car park like they did Kenobi. Yeah. and just for the record, that moon is Polis Massa.
Is that the one from Revenge of the Sith?
That is the one
right.
from Revenge of the Sith.
All right, you're on fire tonight.
I am. I bring my A game. Got my Star Wars hat on too. Feeling good.
Oh my goodness.
I got my thinking hat on. That's what it is. my Admiral Thrawn thinking hat.
Yes, well, that's very good to see. And yep, so they get to the compound or the base, or whatever it is, and it's an acquaintance of Jude Law's, who's of course everybody doesn't quite trust everybody, and he's like, well, this person may or may not be legit, so we're just going to get in there and have a look. And it's a freaky little owl lady.
It's an owl cat.
I do like that he says, watch out because she might stab you in the back. And the kids are like, what? He's like, well,
yeah.
literally.
Olive was like, I know what that means. That means betray. I was like, okay, well, Olive, you're smarter than these kids at least. So
I did like, he goes, you'll figure it out when you're older. I did enjoy it. I like that. That was so on point.
I really liked, even up until this point, and you see it in the rest of the episode, the interactions, how Jude Law was interacting with the kids. It was really well done. You know how some adult actors, they don't interact well with kids. I think he did a really good job, and it was all really natural. And yeah, I really liked it.
It's kind of because he's sort of walking this line of being trustworthy but not trustworthy. You know what I mean? Like they're doing enough for him to trust him, I guess, because they want something from him as well. But at the same time, they don't feel like they're in danger with him. But at the same time, they don't really trust him. Like it's quite a, it doesn't hurt that you're Jude Law and you're quite a charming guy, but he manages to sort of walk that line.
Have we talked about him putting them to bed and giving them dinner?
Yeah, that's true. Whatever that green stuff was, it looked like mushy peas or something. It didn't look like it was particularly... Oh, did you hear Neil's stomach as well?
Yes.
And they were the only ones... Oh, they probably didn't even eat. I was going to say they were the only ones who ate because they had that, that like weird like crab thing that they got served at the other thing, but they probably didn't actually eat any of it. So
no, I don't think they got to eat any of it. And, Fern did the classic... I'm not even tired. Cut to fast asleep.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times at our house as well. Yeah, that's all played out. So and then they get there and they run in with Kim, who is... So is this... I feel like I've seen this species in Clone Wars or something before. Is it a new species? Is it... There's been like owl people, or am I getting them too close to squirrel people or some other cute furry people? This is where I need Alex or Molly or somebody who knows this, who can just pull this right away. Come on, Matt, you're on fire tonight. Are these owl people new, or are they...
These people are new? I'm gonna put myself out there and say she's new.
She's new, and it's maybe from Arrested Development. Marry me.
Is it?
It is. Yeah, I told you.
I thought we were just speculating. Okay.
No, it's 100% her.
She was great.
All right. Oh, did you see the credits or something?
Yeah, I saw on Blue Sky put it up. I saw that.
I researched. Well, after I was, calmed down from Alfred Molina, I went back and I looked up the owl stuff and I was like, oh, not bad. And it's definitely it's maybe Funke.
All right.
And she's put on a good voice because she sounds like she's 80 years old and she's only like 30 though.
Well, there is those episodes of Arrested Development where she she lives in the nursing home. So in the very inferior later series of Arrested Development.
Mm.
But she was great. She was she sort of had the answers. They got to the bottom of the planet. So what did she say about at Aten? It was one of numerous planets that were purposely protected.
Purposely
hidden for their protection.
Yeah.
In the Old Republic as well. She does mention the Old Republic.
Yeah. She didn't... They were hidden for various reasons. Now, this is where you've got to forgive me. I've only watched it the once and, we started recording about 5 minutes after I finished. So was it hidden because of their resources or beauty or knowledge?
Yeah, it seemed to be a combination of... There was something special about the planet. Didn't really give any indication of how long ago, but it seemed like it was a long enough time ago. So whether that's just how the story goes or whether there's more to it, why is it the one that hasn't been destroyed? And then I think KB says that we learnt about Coruscant and Alderaan So it feels like that
Yeah.
they must at least be in the inner rim because they're inner rim planets. She's like, Alderaan. Wow, hey, hope you got no friends there. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Was it? Well, you didn't. What was it? They didn't survive the war or something, and Neil's just war.
you're like, what war? What was that all about? Well, that's another interesting thing, is that because all the way through, like, we haven't really touched on it, that Wim is kind of talking up the Jedi. So he's a Jedi. They do this, they do that. They sort of, so they come from a place where the Jedi are still active. So as far as he knows, there are Jedi Knights everywhere in the galaxy.
1 second. I just want to dial back to Port Borgo Spaceport because I have just been informed that Hondo Anaka's ship can be seen docked in the spaceport.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Haven't we got enough characters screwing each other over in this show?
The Katuni has been seen and sighted at the spaceport.
Oh, my God.
Live action. We are one day closer to live action Hondo. We're going to get that before we get Andor 2.
We saw him for real life at Galaxy's Edge, kind of. It was like,
Welcome
welcome
to Galaxy's Edge.
Rah. I have had the Millennium Falcon for a bit.
Now get those cases.
Get those cases. Somebody shoot them.
Cruxium.
Why are you crashing into the ground? Which was basically how it went when we rode the Millennium Falcon. Right, well, there you go. There's a little pull. It would probably make sense that he'd be hanging around an establishment like that.
Yeah. Yeah, of all these sort of cameos that had been floated about, the Hondo one made a lot of sense, and secretly that does sound like a lot of fun to have Hondo. Can we just get the animatronic from Disneyland?
Just so it matches perfectly with what we're doing here.
Yep.
So it seems like that at Aden at least has been hidden for a particular reason, or at least it had been for a long time ago. It was hidden. People kind of lost it. It wasn't on any star charts and things, but Kim uses her power of deduction on location and basically that it's got a gas nebula around it. And then, was it the symbols on Faye's badge? Is that what it was?
Palmaris, yeah.
Yeah. On her rucksack.
Yep.
My question is, why can't they just sort of go into the ship's log and reverse sort of engineer from the hyperspace navigational computer and say, here's where you were, here's where you traveled, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just reverse sort of thing.
Well,
I don't know if it works. I don't even know if hyperspace works like that, but I guess maybe.
I mean, they did drop out of hyperspace early. Maybe that makes a difference. Maybe they haven't asked SM-33 the right question for it to do that.
But it still had a location in it, because they just hit hyperspace and it went. So it had a location programmed into it where it was going to go.
Yeah. They just hit a button and autopilot all kicked in. So it was all pre-programmed.
But yeah, it's a good question. But I mean, it feels like they always answer these things. Maybe it'll come up. Maybe that's literally just how it happens later. They track them from there because
but I remember in Solo, like when they were going through the maelstrom, right? And they sort of they tracked a route that they could then use forever. Like. And now they've already, they can't reverse engineer what they've done. Obviously, if they do that, then it ruins the.
Maybe you can if you're not 10. But if you knew a thing or two about space travel, potentially. But yeah, I don't know. Is it like Google Maps? Does it just show you where your last location was?
Yeah, I think part of this. Now I'm going to get this wrong, but in the High Republic books, it does talk a bit about the hyperspace lanes. Now, I haven't read Phase 2, which I think goes into it a little bit more, but finding the hyperspace lanes was actually quite difficult, and it's not like walking in a straight line, say like going from one point A to point B. There's actual like lanes you've got to travel through, like paths, and to find those paths is quite difficult. So it's not that sort of navigation as we would think about it, of going in a
Yeah.
straight line.
Yep.
It's a particular like pathway or laneway that you have to go on. So that's why the Nile in sort of collapsing some of those lanes was such a danger, because you can't just go around.
You're just literally cutting off places and stuff like that. Yeah. So Kim kind of seems to deduct where it is, and the little computer punches out a little card, like it's the Bat computer from the Adam West TV show with the little punch card thing. And it was quite cool. But she'd already sold him out, so she rightfully so spotted Jude Law a mile away and called the cops. Basically, called the goons, as she said, as Jude Law was saying, goons, hired goons. And then there's a bit of a scuffle, and they go anyway. I don't know. Like, I guess these kids are more prioritized with going home, even if Jude Law's kind of showing that he can't really be trusted.
Oh, he's so shady.
I think they know he's shady,
but he's the only one who knows how to get him home.
He knows how to get him home. He hasn't actually done stuff to harm them or put them in danger. Like, he has actually helped them. They know he's shady, but
I guess it's just like, if we just get home, like, do what you want. Like, the robots will probably just arrest you, or like, once we get home, we don't really care what you do. Like, do whatever. We just want to get back home.
Yeah, these kids have had absolutely no exposure to anything outside their planet. They're realizing what a wide galaxy it is, and for all his faults, they kind of know Jod. And who's to say that the next lot that they'll fall in with will be able to help them, or will be wanting to help them. Jod, for all his shadiness, is willing to get them home. He's
very handsome.
He can operate the sheet.
All that handsomeness. They haven't had experience with all that handsomeness either.
Look, it is pretty overwhelming.
He's not that handsome anymore.
He's handsome.
He's lost it. He's on the back.
He's looking better than ever.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to look forward to it, mate. When you hit like 50 odd, you've still got that to look forward to.
He's nowhere near like the holidays. He's past it. You can't put on that turtleneck anymore and make people swoon.
No, he doesn't need to. No, like the audience here has spoken. So
you two creeps.
So yeah, there's a bit of a scuffle, but it's quite nice. KB goes back to check on Kim, and she's a bit just like I get why you got to go. Don't trust him. Give us a call if there's any issues. So I don't think it's the last we've seen of Kim.
But I do like that with Kim's message. It's like, don't trust him, but she's not saying don't go with him.
Yeah.
She's saying, keep your eyes open, head on straight, but she's not saying under no circumstances should you go with him.
It's not sort of like he's going to, dump you out the airlock the first chance he gets. You know what I mean? It's more just like he's just going to, he still wants to get paid, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He's still looking for the score. I mean, that seems to be what his motivation is currently, but I mean, it's this... It's the scoundrel, she describes him as a scoundrel as well, which is basically a nice way of saying that he's sort of can't be trusted, but he's not a real bad bloke.
Yeah. Yeah, Star Wars fans do have positive connotations with the word scoundrel.
Yeah, scoundrel. And then we get a nice little chase, Matt, the X-Wings.
T-65s. That was cool. They're not the new X-Wings, still the old ones. So the New Republic have still got them on order.
Yep.
They were the old school X-Wings.
The OGs, as they say.
The OGs. T-65 Incom X-Wings.
So it was very cool little chase bit. They all got to do something. It was like they were doing whatever it's called. Was it Hyperspace Run, or where was the thing at Disney? Somebody got to be the gunner. Somebody got to be the hyperspace person. Somebody got to be the steerer. Smuggler's Run. There it is. Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah, like KB was the engineer.
She got the short
Neil
straw.
was the pilot, and the two gunners.
I did love that was probably my favorite bit. Was Wim getting to he knew exactly what he knew exactly what was going on, and we got into that that little chair thing came down, he was just like, oh, baby, here we go.
Yeah.
Adventure is calling.
Josh, do you remember when we did Smuggler's Run and we didn't know if I was the gunner or you were the engineer, and so we just kept crashing into everything?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then we finished it, and it was like, you were terrible. I'm like, what do you mean? I was flying the ship. It's like, no, you weren't. You were the gunner. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that explains why we didn't shoot.
Well, we were kind of pointing down the whole time. Yeah. And Honda's be like, well, I guess technically you made it, but
better luck next time.
Get to the back of the queue. That'll be another $20 to get to the front of the queue again. Yeah, so that was a really great sequence. The kids got to shoot at the cops, so to speak, and Neil got to drive the ship, which was very cute, and KB got to master the hyperdrive, and then they got out of Dodge just in time. Where to? Well, this is the thing. If the coordinates correct, have they gone home?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. What a cliffhanger!
Were you expecting Carson? What's his face?
Oh my god! If it was him, I'd be like, dude, you are in too many things. Oh no! Imagine if it was Filoni and he had the hat on.
It's just like, wow, they didn't quite get away this time. Wow, we couldn't kill him with those kids in there.
Imagine if it was Steel.
Just gets like,
You're like, what's up, guys?
He's like, wow, you kept that one to yourself. Who was that pilot? Did you look him up as well?
That was Johnny Bravo. No, I made it up. No idea. It just said X-Wing pilot in the credits.
It must have been like first AD or something like that, or you know what I mean? Like it looked like it was just some kind of dude.
Yeah, it was no one.
He'll have a name and a Wikipedia page by morning.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But
he'll have 10,000 Instagram followers by morning.
And so that was the episode. So the New Republic are wise too. Now it seems like Kim's going to spill the beans. At least that these kids have come from this planet, and they've got a notorious pirate in tow. So where do we go from here? Now, does the ship? They put the coordinates in that they got from Kim. So does that mean that's where they're going? Are they going to get back to? Is that their adventure off world done, and now they're going back, or have we just scratched the surface here?
I think we're just scratching the surface. We might get into the close by vicinity. That's the word I was looking for, because again, even though Kim was able to sort of narrow things down, it's still not precise coordinates. Maybe you'll be close
she
by.
Might have just put the wrong ones in when she thought Jude Law was up onto him.
Yeah.
She might have just been like, well, I'll just punch these ones in, and then if he tries to nick them, he won't be able to get too far.
Yeah, and also it seemed a bit convenient. Ooh, hidden planet that no one's ever found in the history of the universe. And she's like, the barrier has gas. Oh, I found it. Let's anyway. I don't think it's going to come that easily. But then again, we thought Jude Law and Captain Solder were two different people. So
no, we didn't. No, I didn't.
All right, God, you know it all.
So, what's going to happen next week then? I guess that all depends on where they come out of space, isn't it? That's sort of. I think the parents are going to amp up their search. They're going to go to the grand supervisor, and they're going to be no help, or something really weird's going to be. Going
the
on.
Supervisor is definitely Rhys Ifans. No doubt, because he's friends with John Watts now. And we're going to
all the Spider-Man villains. Is that
for sure. And like
Willem Dafoe,
Jamie Foxx is coming. He's gonna be on the next planet. Jamie Foxx is Monster of the Week, and so is who else?
Thomas Hayden Church.
Sandman's coming. Will and Grace will come. I don't know. Who knows? Anything's possible.
Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah, Michael Keaton, of course. Yep, all these Spider-Man villains.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal's coming.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal. I was going to say James Franco. We probably won't be James Franco.
Mysterio's coming. Ooh.
So, yeah, that's where we kind of left it. So I think, we said the parents are going to go suss out what's going on with this Supreme Leader who's probably going to be no help. So they're going to have to dig a little deeper, I think, and start unraveling the mysteries of what's going on with this planet, what they're actually doing. Are they actually doing anything? Or are they kind of asking their parents, like, what does your parent do? Analyst? Analyzing what? Like, it's a very good question. Is it just mindless busy work? And if it is, like, why do you have to be working late to do it?
Well, yeah, I think the kids started to figure out, wow, so our planet is sort of a mystery. What are our parents doing? Are they sort of analyzing the treasures? They started to think about it and figure it out, so to speak.
It was.
Is it to the treasure? It used to be the treasury for the Republic, and that was just how they made money, and that's why they didn't let people know where it was, and then it just got hidden, and they're just still making
part of it. But it was a nice little bit when they were having their meal or finished, and Wim had his credits on the table, and when Jod came in, he put his bowl over the top of it, and Neil did the same thing.
And he had no credits. This is how we finish our meals at Aden over here. Good episode, good fun. I've got the review from my girls recorded as well, which I'll tackle at the end.
So good last week.
So
it was such a good review.
We got some nice feedback from some people who heard that, which was nice. So it's always good, a bit of new blood on this podcast. But I really enjoyed it. I'm really digging where the story's going. It's good fun with a capital F, and I'm all about it.
Yeah, I had a big goofy grin.
2 thumbs up. Enjoyed it. It's going good. It's fresh. It's fun.
People are liking it. It seems to be pretty much completely controversy free, which is nice. Not that I've really looked that hard. I don't really need to be looking for anybody trying to dig up something on this, trying to find something but it's
my Uncle Alfred Molina's there.
Yep, Matt's Uncle Alfred is there. And
Mole's mate, the pirate's in it. It's
he wasn't in it this week.
Such a winning formula, just get all the Mole's mates and uncles and relatives. Anything Mole related, and you're on a winner.
Do we have to add him to the T-shirt that we're going to Mole's mates with the pirate on it, and we're going to put Alfred Molina on there as well?
Alfred Mohlina.
Oh, that's nice. Well, in the spirit of that, I'm going to play that Indiana Jones game when we finish up here for a little bit. Maybe I'll go back to the start and start the bit again. But yeah. Any closing thoughts here before we wrap this sucker up?
Bring on next week. And you can buy a Kim Pop already.
Oh, really?
For Skello Crue, yeah.
Well, the thing is, because the show got delayed, all that merch is just sitting there waiting, ready to go. So
why was the show delayed? Explain. What happened?
Strike?
I think the strike pushed back other stuff, so therefore it had to come later.
Okay.
So the toys and things and are also
they've all been ready to go, have they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw some Jude Law ones at Zing the other day when I was there getting some looking for big deals.
Yeah. When I was looking through the EB Games on that Monday looking for bargains, there was Skeleton Crew merch. Yeah, I loaded up the cart with bargains. Then I was thinking about it for too long. Cart emptied. So I've walked away with no bargains. I've walked away with nothing.
Well, I got the Phantom Menace retro figures for $50 instead of $130. So that was a pretty good deal. So it's about $8 a figure, I think it was, or $9 a figure, which is pretty good deal. So they're sitting up with their OGs now, all looking like they all belong, which is quite nice. But great. Well, thank you guys for coming on. Anything you want to plug before we leave? Anything? Everyone's all good. Same time next week.
I'll be there same time next week.
Yeah. Well, we should just as a little tribute to our friend Brittany Brown, who rang the bell today.
Ring the bell.
We'll give a big bye on the way out. So well done, Brittany. We love you, and bye for now. Bye.
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 Okay, so we just finished episode 3 of Skeleton Crew. Who have I got here?
Olive. Sloane.
So, what did you guys think of this episode?
Good, but a bit scary. It was great because a Jedi helped them.
Is he a Jedi, though?
I don't know really. He doesn't really say.
I think he's a bit suspicious.
He's very sus.
So he seems to know how to use the Force, though. He can make things move.
True, but he could be a bad guy because bad guys can also use the Force.
Do you think it's weird that they were calling him, like, Crimson Jack? Sound like he had, like, a pirate name?
Yes. Very piratey and very weird. I feel that it's a bit unusual because it's like he's wearing rusty clothes.
That's true.
And Jackson usually rusty. And also, why does he have a gun on him? That's also a bit sus.
Well, I guess he just took one when he escaped.
True, but still.
And what other bits were good?
Well, I liked the owl. She's my favourite character. She's so cool. I like the
What about you, Sloan? Which bits did you like as well?
I liked when the girl with the cool eye thing was when she's so intelligent and Justice, the owl girl was like, hey.
That was nice of her, wasn't it?
Yes.
So what's going to happen next week?
New episode!
Yeah, but what's going to happen?
Oh, well, probably they will try to find Adams, but then the pirates come up, or maybe that doesn't happen, and that weird sus guy who looks like Albus Dumbledore might actually turn out to be a pirate and try to get them.
Okay, what about you, Sloan? Come a bit closer. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that it's like so crazy, and they're like try to get to Adam, but then the pirates attack, and then he becomes a pirate.
Okay, well, we'll find out, won't we? All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, bye. Bye.